And good afternoon, White County. Don Strength from the White County Public Safety Office of Emergency Management. All preparations are complete. Now we are in monitoring mode, waiting for that first snowflake to fall from the sky. We think it'll be much later on this evening before we start to see snow across White County. And I know that all the snow lovers out there are awfully excited as we continue to trend the models at least continue to trend wetter with this system, and we may end up with some pretty significant snow totals across White County before all is said and done. But I don't want you guys to lose sight of the danger part of this storm. And that is going to be the long duration cold temperature that we're going to be dealing with after midnight tonight, quite possibly all the way through Monday or Tuesday of next week. And you can see here, these are the predicted low temperatures for tonight. So we're talking about going down into the low 20s across Helen and across Cleveland. So it's hard to imagine that right now because it's nice outside at the moment. But after midnight, when the snow kicks in, our temperatures will start falling and we'll make it down into the low 20s for overnight lows tonight. Now, let's look at Saturday night's low temperature because this is where it really gets dangerous. We're going to make it into the upper single digits. This is not wind chill, this is actual air temperature. So we're looking at 9 degrees in Helen and 9 degrees in Cleveland. And then as we look at Sunday night, you'll see that those overnight lows continue to be really, really low as we get down there into the lower teens for overnight lows on Sunday night. Now, I think Monday night we're in the 20s. Tuesday night we're probably still in the mid to upper 20s. So each night for the next week or so, we're going to be below freezing. The problem here is from midnight tonight through at least Monday afternoon, we will not get above freezing. We'll get close Sunday afternoon, maybe for an hour or two, but I think we stay just under 32 for your daytime high. And then on Monday, we expect to get above freezing, maybe the upper 30s for a couple of 2 or 3 hours Monday. But understand that's not going to do much to melt any accumulated precipitation we may have on the ground. It could be Tuesday afternoon before we get any significant thawing, and it may be the rest of the week that we actually have snow on the ground. Now, I don't expect our roads to be in that bad a shape for that length of time. I think our biggest travel hazards will come pre-dawn Saturday morning and continue through Saturday afternoon. And then once the precipitation stops, road crews can most likely get out there and work this stuff and get our roads back into decent shape. That would be state routes and county routes. Not going to be much help for us out there on the secondary streets. This is going to be a dry powder snow. It's going to be totally different than what we typically deal with here in the South. And just talking to the road department manager here just a few moments ago, because we're going to be so cold, you have to treat this a little bit differently than you would just an ordinary snow. So it may be sometime Saturday afternoon or Saturday night before they can really get out there and get some of the accumulation off the roadways. So I would definitely be prepared to stay off the roads after midnight tonight through at least noon tomorrow, if not even into tomorrow night, before we start to see things improve on the roadway. But my fear is all the snow lovers are so excited about the possibility of getting snow, we're losing sight of the fact of how dangerous this storm could potentially be. The Weather Service categorizes White County as being in the extreme category as far as effects are concerned from this storm. And the primary reason they're doing that, it's not the snow, it's the long duration and the depth of the cold air that's going to be in place for maybe up to 60 hours. We don't get above freezing, and at its coldest, we drop down to 9 degrees tomorrow night. So that is dangerous. It's frostbite type weather. If you're going to be outside for more than just a couple of minutes, it becomes very dangerous. And you can get into trouble with frostbite before you know it. And we're not accustomed to that in the South. This is This is Alaska weather that we're going to be enduring this weekend, and we're just not accustomed to it. We typically don't know how to dress in layers. We don't know how to protect our skin. So if you're going to be outside in the coldest part of this, when the winds are at their height, you got to make sure you have no exposed skin. That includes your face. That includes your hands. Everything's got to be covered, and be very careful. Best idea: don't go outside. Stay inside until the temperatures improve and we get all the roadways cleared. So the $64 million question that I've gotten about 450,000 times this afternoon: how much snow are we going to get across White County? We'll take it full screen because I'm about blind and can't see it when it's 1/3 like that. And you can see here, these are the latest snowfall totals just issued by the National Weather Service, or well, within the last 45 minutes anyway. And you can see that there has been yet another increase in the potential snowfall amounts across White County and all of Northeast Georgia. The map that you see over there on the left-hand side is the official National Weather Service snow depth forecast at a ratio of 20-1. Typically, our ratio is 10-1, but remember, this is going to be a dry powder type snow. And you can see that White County is in that 4 to 6 inch range. I think probably most of us are looking at 4 to 5 inches of snow across White County. There could be some pockets of 6 inches, but you'll notice there are some yellow shaded in areas there right across White County that suggest we could see greater than 6 inches of snow in some locations. It will not be that way across the entire county, but because we're going to have wind involved in this, and because we're going to have some snow squalls that may set up in certain locations, we could see some pretty good snow totals in spots around White County. Then over there on the right-hand side, this is the reasonable worst case scenario for snowfall. And you'll see in the reasonable worst case, just about the entire county has 6 inches of snow. And up there across the northern part of the county, up on top of the mountain, we could be looking at up to 8 inches of snow accumulation there. Notice Rabun County back down into Habersham and Stevens, a good part of that is covered in that 8-inch potential snowfall in this event that's about to happen. Now, we've talked all week about the exact placement of that low pressure system that's going to be coming down from the northwest. And again, folks, that is the proof in the pudding. That has everything in the world to do with who gets how much snow each person's going to see across the area. And that has been diving further west and south with the last 4 or 5 runs of all the models. And so now we believe the snow may actually work back into West Georgia and even down into East Alabama. We could see some measurable snow down there. So each time the models move that low further west and to the south, that puts White County, Georgia, in the bullseye of where we think the heaviest snow is going to take place with this storm. So I think we're in for a pretty decent snowstorm. My concern is the cold air and the duration of the cold air, and we could have some travel issues during the height of the storm. Could also be windy as we get into the day on Saturday into Saturday afternoon. I do not anticipate widespread power outages, but I think there will be some power outages, and there will be some downed trees, if for no other reason, because of that wind. Now, that's the bad side of the wind. The good side of the wind is that it should prevent the snow from accumulating on the trees, and it may actually help us keep us from having such a large accumulation on the roadways. It may blow that snow off of the road. If you've ever spent time in places like Chicago or Detroit during a snowstorm, then you understand what I'm talking about. It's almost like being in a snow globe in the height of the storm, in that snow is going to be going in every direction imaginable, even up and down, sideways. It's just going to be blowing everywhere. So those flat surfaces that are unprotected from trees, it's going to be hard for the snow to accumulate there. But we know we live in a forest, so most of our roads are protected by trees. So I'm not sure how much help the wind will give us on the roadways, but I think it certainly will help us with the trees. It'll keep those trees from being overweighted and falling, I think, when we get into the height of this. So just remember, you want to prepare. You want to make sure your pipes are protected. Keep that heat on so that the inside of your home is warm. In most situations, that'll keep your water system warm as well. Open those doors under cabinets. Make sure your bathroom is well heated so that your pipes won't freeze. You want to make sure you have adequate heating. You want to make sure you have medication, plenty of food, and prepare for maybe a couple of days staying inside your home. Very important for your pets. You got to make sure you bring those animals inside. This is not something that they're accustomed to. Here's the best way to do that, folks. If you step outside and you're cold, your pet is cold as well. So make sure you have provisions for them. Now, if you need food, the Bridge Church is handing out food this afternoon. They will continue until 6 p.m. So you've got a little less than an hour to stop by the Bridge Church at 607 Halsey Road here in Cleveland. They've got non-perishable food kits that they're handing out this afternoon to maybe help you get through this storm system this weekend. I know that people are already beginning to ask me questions about yet another potential winter event next week and even one beyond that. Folks, let me say this. You're seeing a lot of that on social media, and it's something that, it's fun to look at this far in advance, but having those models that you're looking at are not accurate this far in advance. So again, don't take that to heart. Let's get through this weekend storm, and then we'll start looking at what else Mother Nature may throw at us next week. Right now, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about us getting through this one. So we will stand up our Emergency Operations Center at midnight tonight. We will be here to serve the citizens of White County, and we will come to help you with whatever your need may be. We encourage you to use 911 responsibly. Please keep those lines open for true emergency calls. If you need to speak to us but you don't really think it's an emergency, then call our non-emergency number. That's very easy to do, and we'll be glad to help you and answer any type of questions that you may have. You see the number scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. Stay off of the roadways. That's the best thing you can do for us, at least through the height of this storm. Give us an opportunity to get out there and work the roads, and then we will communicate with you when we think it's safe to travel across White County. Be safe out there. We'll continue to update you. We will have updates throughout the night and throughout the day tomorrow if conditions warrant and we start having problems around the county. And I'll see you back in here real soon from White County Public Safety.